All right, welcome back to My Mom's Basement. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here with the bad boy himself, Joey Janela. How you doing?
What's up, man? I've been trying to do this for a while.
We did this years ago.
Did we do this?
We did an interview like 4 years ago. I was looking back. I think it's over 4 years ago. It was like after the roof bump, and we were trying to promote the first spring break. It wasn't in person. It was like I think it was either a phone call or a Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
It was a long time ago.
Wow.
Maybe too many bumps since then.
Well, yeah, I know. Every time we end up in the same place a couple times when I'm pissed drunk and I'm like, all right, he's over here. I'm like, let's do a drunken interview somewhere.
We have been in the same place a couple times. I forget what it was. This Saturday was UFC 268 at the Garden.
Yes.
The last place, it might have been a concert. I think we were at a concert together.
I believe so. I think so.
I think it was like maybe a Blink show or something, or it was some concert. I forget what it was. But you were at UFC 268 Saturday. I saw you tweeting all about it. Are you a big UFC fan?
I used to be bigger.
Yeah.
But I do, for some reason, I have like a weird like UFC hookup, like a couple of them, where I can go to any UFC event. Whoops. I can just like hit people up and just, if I'm free, go to UFC. It's pretty sick.
That was a sick card on Saturday that you got to see.
It was the best one I've ever been to.
Yeah, I think it was the best one I've ever been to. That Chandler Gaethje fight was the best fight I've ever seen in person.
That reminded me of the days of Hendo.
Yeah.
Having wars.
Yeah.
Around like, man, it was a war. It was awesome.
I did an interview with Moxley last week before the card, and I was asking him like what he's looking forward to because he's a big MMA fan.
Oh yeah.
And he brought up Gaethje right away, and he's like,
That's his favorite fighter.
he's like, I feel like Moxley is kind of like the pro wrestling embodiment of Justin Gaethje. Yeah. So seeing that fight was like, well, yeah, if you're going for that, that's fucking chaos and madness.
Yeah.
And
I hope he was able to watch it.
Yeah.
I wrote a tweet. I said, I hope he was able to watch it because that was a sick fight.
Yeah.
And I know he would have been amped up to watch that one. So.
Yeah.
I just hope he was able to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, this is the second time I've interviewed you. The first time was so long ago. I was promoting the first spring break, which I went to, and I've been to the first 3 spring breaks.
Really?
Yeah. I would love Joey Janela's spring break. It's like WrestleMania weekend. I have to hit it. It kind of kicks off the weekend for me. The first one that you ever put on, 2017, did it go smoothly, or was that like chaotic, or like is the first event you promoted, right?
Yeah, it absolutely went smoother than we ever thought it would.
Because as a fan, it was great. It was like a blast. It was a party.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was one of my favorite nights of my life.
Yeah.
Because I've never felt that rewarded after something, just pulling something off like that. Like they were offered like a slot, like Brett and was offered a midnight slot like at the what is it, WrestleCon? It was a WrestleCon. It was like the
yeah
deal, and they were like, how can we make this work? And I just did that roof bump. I had a lot of buzz on the independents. I was
Were you feuding with Leo at that point yet, or not yet?
Yeah, that was
CZW.
Yeah, we were Leo at that point. That was right before he left, but yeah, we were in the midst of like a 2-year deal there. But they were like, how can we make this midnight slot work? They said, well, let's do a Joey Janela party.
Yeah.
I said, they hit me up about it. I said, let's call it Joey Janela Spring Break because it just worked. And
it was like booked for like the internet almost, like for wrestling Twitter. Like you had Glacier, you had Marty Jannetty, you had all of these stars who were Dan Severn. Dan Severn, yeah.
Yeah, we were like, as soon as like, let's do it. Let's hit up Ken Shamrock, I said, let's have Ken Shamrock wrestle Matt Riddle. And so we hit up Shamrock. He wanted like an arm and a leg. Then we hit up Dan Severn, who didn't want much and didn't want a flight. He wanted to drive from Michigan to.
Really?
Yeah, he said he refused to fly. He drove from Michigan to
Orlando, right? Yeah.
And it was perfect. And that's kind of the seeds that were planted right there in that match for Bloodsport as well.
Yep.
So, the GCW tree kind of stems from that.
Yeah.
And the roof bump. A lot of people, I was talking to you before we went on, a lot of people think I have like a stake or I'm a booker at GCW or I have money involved. That's not really the case. I'm just like a pillar of the company, and it's just grown so large now.
It's crazy to see the last like 4 years what it's become at this point. Like, how do you think that happened? Was it the social media stuff? Was it the roster? Like, how does a company, because 2015 was GCW's like the rebranding and all of that, right?
Yeah.
How does it make it this day and age? It seems so hard for a new promotion to come out of nowhere and become what it has become.
We had a rough year last year. Everyone did.
Pandemic, of course.
Pandemic. But they were consistent and ran still.
Yeah.
Found places to run bi-monthly and stuff and do the social distancing. And
you had a social distancing match, which was
social
hysterical.
Distancing match, which is apparently the stuff of lore in Japan, apparently.
Really?
I wrestled Suzuki, and he's like, I know you. And then he's trying to tell me, like, something, and then he's like, social distance. He goes, the social distance match? I was like,
holy shit.
I was like,
this
right.
is Suzuki telling you that?
Yeah,
That's so funny.
He said he loved it. And so that was like the week that the pandemic kind of just like started engulfing the news, and we all thought we were gonna die because there's like clips on Twitter of mass graves and
I remember that
in Iraq or something or Iran, and we're like, wow, this is bad. I think we're all gonna die because we did like a GCW show the week before in Philadelphia, which was full capacity. This is before restrictions, and then the restrictions happened the next week, so we did the benefit show for indie wrestling. And, we're like, how do we do this? Let's do a social distancing match. But how? So the whole night before, we did. It's like it was 2 days of studio tapings at a bar in Philly. No fans. So the night before, I usually don't. I'm not really an edible guy or marijuana guy.
Really?
But I ate a few edibles.
Nice.
And then just came up with the whole match. Got to the building and then got Jimmy, and we just kind of, all right, let's do this.
It's a
we
wild match. It's so much fun to watch. It's on Twitter. You could go watch it.
Yeah.
On YouTube. Yeah.
It's like, believe it or not, like it might be the most viral thing I've ever done because how it was on every news show in Japan and talk show and stuff. Like Great Sasuke was just sending me clips of the social distancing match. Like every time he would just send it to me, which is pretty wild.
Insane, yeah.
Great Sasuke is sending me anything on social media, but that was it, man. It was fun, but then like that whole year was just like bad for everyone. It was bad for me. Like that was like the year before I just signed to AEW.
Yep.
I was on such a hot streak with these matches.
Some huge ones, yeah.
Kenny, Mox.
Yep.
We did the Cracker Barrel match.
Yeah.
TV just started. I had a great match with Kenny on TV as well. Just a normal 10-minute match. And then just that November, my back kind of got jacked up, and I wasn't feeling too good in the ring anymore because I obviously killed myself at the start of AEW pretty bad. And then the pandemic happened, and then, that was it. Like, I was unmotivated. Like, I'm not an athlete. Like, these guys, I can't go out there without a crowd. I have to have a crowd. I have to have that adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, all right. So I kind of just, I hate to say it, I kind of half-assed the whole year because it was like, I was unmotivated. I was depressed. I started to eat a lot. I got fatter and progressively worse, and I looked worse and worse. I've had some good matches during the pandemic, but it wasn't like pre-pandemic. Now we're getting back to...
I was going to say, was it crowds coming back and you're like...
immediately
like you snap back into it?
Yeah, it's like crowds coming back. I'm under a 3-year deal. My contract's up in May. I really have to step it up, know. And I felt like I have in the last couple months, especially on the, just having killer matches on Dark.
Yeah.
And just the arena's coming back. It really helped me. And I feel like we got something right now with AEW, so I'm crossing my fingers to hope that things are going in an upward trajectory because the whole pandemic was just, I know for everyone,
it was brutal,
brutal. But for me, it was the worst.
That's tough to hear, yeah. You mentioned all those big matches you had at the beginning of AEW. Do you have, like, a favorite match of all time from AEW that you've been in?
Probably me and Mox.
Yeah.
Because that was his first match. I wanted, like, for years, like, just being in that CZW, Philadelphia fan culture, fans always like, dream match, Joey Janela, John Moxley. So when I found out he got released, I went on, his contract was
coming
expiring,
to an end. Yeah.
I went on Twitter and I said, I want to wrestle John Moxley. Apparently, people over there weren't too happy about the tweet, and they contacted someone, and I had to take down the tweet. I was
wow.
Oh, okay, because it might be a little bit tampering issue there. So then 2 weeks later, he was gone, and they hit me up. They're like, we want to do something with you and Moxley on pay-per-view. And they made event. I'm like, all right, let's do it. It was just such a surreal moment, like that building, like little people know that that's the building that the NWO formed.
Yeah, you're a big WCW guy.
Yeah. So it's like, not only am I wrestling in that building, but I'm wrestling in the main event of a pay-per-view against John Moxley, who has the most buzz right now in the wrestling business at that time, and it's just it was surreal. It felt like I was in when I came out, like just the way the lighting was, felt like I was in like some kind of movie. Like the fans almost looked CGI to me, like this is bizarre. But it just like also like the greatest picture of my career, like when I'm washed up and 60 years old in a wheelchair doing Randy the Ram signing in Bumblefuck, New Jersey at the convention. There's going to be that 8x10 of me dropping the elbow off the ladder.
Of course, yeah.
But, that's then, and now we just got to, I got to move on from that, I just, it was a great moment. It was a great few months in my life, in my career. So I always look back and remember that. Yeah.
You mentioned the roof bump. You mentioned some brutal bumps that you took that like hurt your body.
Yeah.
What was the worst from perspective of like pain, the immediate pain you felt after a bump? Because there are some crazy ones on Twitter that you've taken.
The roof bump wasn't bad at all, to be honest. That was like, Zandig was very smart. He's a foreman of a construction company, so he was very smart with that bump to put it in the back of a pickup truck because he knew the
bounce, almost
the
bounce, give.
The suspension of the truck would kind of bounce like a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah.
The worst part of that was obviously the barbed wire.
You cut your thumb, right?
Yeah. Obviously the worst part of it was like the barbed wire at the bottom of the truck for no reason that no one could see. He was tangled in that, and the glass flying in the air and like crashing.
Like it shattered and then came back down onto you, right?
Yeah, it was like a mouthful of glass.
Oh my God.
I've taken so many crazy bumps. I can't like
the One Wing Angel onto the chair looked like it was the most painful thing in the world. Was it? No.
The thing with the open chair spots, I know how to like. Kenny obviously is a pro. He knows how to put me.
Yeah.
Like, but when I flip, I do like sometimes I stop doing it because I know in the future I'm going to be feeling it, but not at the moment. It's like you do a front flip off the top rope through the chair.
Oh, yeah.
I just know how to hit them now, so it's really...
It looks really gnarly every time.
Every time it looks crazy. I'm pretty... But I can't... It has to be something very, very stupid. It's probably not even a big bump.
Really?
It's probably something... I'm trying to think.
You've got the big ones that like the Barstool account posts constantly, because I think someone like gave us the rights to one of those videos once.
It's that...
It's you jumping off the
football season,
the field goal, right? Yeah.
Every football season, you guys... It went up a couple weeks ago, and it was constantly tagged in it for 4 days. But I don't know, man. This is a hard one. I'm trying to think. Blowing out my knee was probably the worst. Pain. Because I do right away.
How'd you do that?
I had a match with Psychosis, the real Psychosis of WCW fame of Mexico, and it was just it was a show at Asbury Park, and he was too far on a cross.
Convention Center?
No, it was at the House of Independence.
Oh yeah, yeah,
House
yeah.
of Independence where we used to run, and I went for a crossbody, and he kind of was too far, and I had to really gun it, and the floor is covered in beer and concrete, so it's slippery. So as soon as I landed, I couldn't plant, and my knee just shifted, and you could tell right in the video, like the video is brutal, that I knew I was done. Like I couldn't, the pressure in my leg, it felt like I thought my leg was dislocated, like at the kneecap. That's probably like, it's not as painful as this thing. It's just a strange feeling where you know like you're
done. Yeah.
Like your whole leg goes numb, like, and it feels unstable. It's like one of the worst.
That's fucking crazy. All right. Rise of GCW, though, like we were talking about. More positive things, like not injuries. Yes. It's crazy, and you got a show coming up at the Hammerstein Ballroom, January 23rd. I can't wait. This is my favorite, I've said for years, my favorite venue in the world for wrestling. Like, I've been to some Ring of Honor shows there. I wish I could have gone to the legendary ECW, one-night stand show.
I wish.
Like, those crowds are just something special. Combine that with GCW, combine that with the momentum, the Moxleys, the Cardonas of the world. This is going to be huge.
It's big. It's big for indie wrestling.
Yeah.
It's big for GCW. It's big for everyone that's killed themselves for that company.
The promo video that you guys put out was awesome.
John
Perfect.
Carlo, he's like the absolute, like, WWE, like, we all know how many people they've been releasing and how people have been saying, like, this person shouldn't have been at the top of the list, top of the pecking order. They should have let him do what he does, because he's a genius. He's like he basically came up with, or basically he's responsible for a lot of Bad Boy. He's responsible for a lot of MJF.
Yeah.
People don't realize that he's that smart, like with his vignettes and his characters.
Did he do your old vignettes where you're digging up the VHS tape?
That was him.
That's him, yeah.
Me and MJF and Leo Rush, and there's a large list of people he's.
And it's important to point out, like, there's the names in the wrestling industry that aren't the ones in the ring that are actually, like, building people up and, like, making people stars, helping make them stars.
I think that Hammerstein one is probably the best one he's done.
If you haven't seen it, it's like must watch on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you could find it. It's just so intense. You can feel the underdog vibe of the company through it, and that final shot of everyone standing there in the middle of the empty Hammerstein is awesome.
It was so cool to be there and film that, and like, believe it or not, that was filmed within maybe 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, he knew what he was gonna do. 30 minutes, we were out of there, and he put it together for that weekend, and we all watched it, we all teared up. We're like, this is an amazing, powerful promo, and it's just, he's just so good at what he does, and I'm just glad he's back in GCW, and he's kind of probably almost responsible, also part of it, for the recent big boom of GCW.
I'm sure,
the Cardona thing, I think him and Brett came up with a whole Cardona Nick Gage thing.
Which has been brilliant.
The belt. And
the Deathmatch King.
Yeah. That's a lot of him, so kudos to him, and it's going to pay off big time in January, Hammerstein. Yeah. I don't know when the tickets are. I asked Brett, I said, can I announce on this when the tickets? He's like, he doesn't even know, but we know it's going to be.
I'll be there. I promise you. That's like a must see for me, because I haven't been to a wrestling show at Hammerstein in years. There hasn't been one for years.
Ever at Hammerstein.
You'll be in the middle of it.
I've been to concerts there. I've never been to a wrestling show there. So
it's a special building for that kind of stuff. Like, it's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. That's going to be like kicking off the year in a big bad way for indie wrestling.
I just say it's going to be also a challenge at the same time, because the commission in New York is so strict.
Yeah.
And they have like a target on GCW. You're going to get the plunder, the chairs, the doors, the ladders, but obviously no blood, no deathmatch stuff. So, it's going to it's gonna be a challenge, but it's gonna be an awesome challenge. But I'm sure the crowd is gonna ride us through that show effortlessly the whole night. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Your least favorite match you've ever had. I asked your favorite before. Do you have one that points out where you're like, that was just a disaster? Sometimes comedians talk about like one time they bombed, you know?
Oh, when I started, I had plenty of awful matches when I was a kid. But
how young did you start like actually wrestling? Pretty 16, young, right? Yeah.
16. Recently, I think during the pandemic, there was a match. It was me and Sonny Kiss versus Miro and Kip. And I think it might have been Miro's debut, maybe, or
early. Yeah.
Yeah, it was early. So it was just one of those nights. I think everything was going wrong.
Nothing clicked. Yeah.
Nothing clicked. Everything was going wrong. We knew, like, when we all went back, we're like, ah. Like, Miro,
is that the worst feeling?
Like, no, Miro was like, he's a very positive guy, so he was like, it's fine, it's whatever. I'm sure he's been through it many times. I was just like, damn, we really shit the bed there. We really shit the bed. I'm like, God damn it, like. And before that, me and Sonny were doing like tag stuff on Dark. Like we just started doing our thing, and just it was clicking. It was clicking, but we were trying to find out that we've never really both been in a tag team, so we're trying to figure out the kinks of doing this tag deal. And we had the match with Brody and Colt on TV, which went pretty well, and which is so they put us with Miro and Kip, and it just everything went wrong. Like just out of position. Like there was one point where we didn't figure out, like, Kip is supposed to be on all fours outside. Oh, Kip jumped over the guardrail on me. He landed on his head, hit his head on the concrete. I'm like, on camera, I go, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like, you wiped out. He's wiped out. And then the next spot is I'm supposed to run off his back, like poetry motion style to Miro's arms in a crossbody. And the positioning's just not right, so I tried to leap off the guardrail, and the guardrail's not connected, and I just miss and fall, and it was just like, that was like, I was like, at that moment, I'm like, I hate fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah. I talked to Moxley about that too. He hated it. He was very like, I don't want to wrestle during the pandemic. And he had some great matches, obviously, but he was like, I'm not into it at all. Some wrestlers were like, yeah, I like the challenge. He was like, nope, I don't like the challenge. I just want fans back.
He just, Mox just, he does his business. That's it.
Yeah.
Me, I just, I'm still smoking a lot of cigarettes a day. One of the
That's the bad boy.
Of the outlaws. Yeah. That actually smoke cigarettes and
we show up in Zubaz.
This is my
way it is.
Flight. This is like my travel wear.
I got
Zubaz.
Travel pants too.
I had to throw on the AEW
for the brand,
For the brand, I don't want to get in trouble by the PR.
No, you're a good company spokesperson.
Yes, great company.
The face of the company,
That's it. But it's just like, the pandemic. Just like these guys are. AEW has like a lot of just freak athlete wrestlers who could do a match in front of no fans for the rest of their career and have just effortlessly do it. I can't.
Yeah.
But it's just
But you're a different kind of wrestler. You're a different style. That's why people gravitate towards you. I think in some ways it's like you're definitely different than everyone else on the roster in many different ways.
For sure, I believe that as well. It's just like it's hard for them to find a spot for me.
Yeah,
I'm so different from everyone else. But I think.
Do you have like a spot for yourself in your mind? Like if Tony came to you tomorrow and said, "What do you want to do?" Like,
of course, we're just trying to like. So, Tony comes up to me. He's like, "All right, now we got to figure something out." I was like, for months, like, we got to turn a heel. We got to turn a heel. We need heels. So, I'm like, okay, turn me heel. Like this Sonny Kiss tag team, obviously, we're not doing anything with it right now. So just turn me heel. Obviously, I'm business savvy enough to know how to get over Sonny Kiss, which has worked completely to the fullest. But he's like, let's let's turn you heel. And then for months, I'm like, all right, let's do it. It just never came. And then eventually you just pulled the trigger. It was like the last show in Jacksonville before we went back on the road. And we did it. It worked. And so now Tony was like, all right. He loved when me and Penelope were an act together. He hired us because we were an act. Obviously, in real life we broke up, and then it just like went to hell.
Yeah,
we're very cool now. Everything's cool, but he loved that act, so he's like, we need to find a new valet for you that can do the flips, you can distract the ref to come in and do it. So we had a few people in mind, a lot of just new female, like former gymnasts, Olympic gymnasts, and then someone said, oh, they have this girl at the Nightmare Factory. She's a pro bodybuilder. She's a former Olympic gymnast. And I was like, all right, let's see the videos. And she looks amazing. And I'm like, okay, she could do all the flips, plus she can throw people around. I'm like, this is something that no one's really seen in the business before. So I went right up to Tony. I showed a video of her doing like a corkscrew moonsault, and he's like, all right, let's bring her to TV. This is her 4th week of training.
Wow. And she's doing corkscrew moonsaults?
Yeah, so they're like, where do we do this? I said, let's just do it in the United Center. Like, this is a huge show. I said, let's just have her come in the United Center and powerbomb someone and do something. And it just, people will just kind of like, oh, who is this? Because no one's ever seen her before.
Yeah.
But now that's just, that's clicking. The act is getting over. We just need to progress to the end of the storyline with Sunny Kiss, and then after that we got to figure out. I have a spot in my mind. I've talked to Tony about stuff, but there's so many people in the company right now. There's so many new people coming in. So you have to. I know a lot of people on the internet like, oh, this person's dark. It's like, no TV time, you're on dark, you're a jobber. No, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to embrace
definitely
dark and being on a YouTube show and whatnot.
Brian Danielson's working dark.
Yeah. But people are going to have to learn to embrace that and realize there's only 3 hours of TV time a week.
Yeah.
And just burn it down.
And also look at the audience you could reach on YouTube is crazy.
It's great.
It's worldwide. Look at they did the buy-in for the big show recently with Suzuki and Brian on it. Yeah. That show does millions of views.
Yeah. No, I think it's I think dark's great, and I think everyone has stepped it up.
Yeah.
Since the crowds come back, it's just there's only a short amount of time before Dynamite or Rampage that we could do the dark show. It's only like an hour.
Yeah.
So you're not having 20-minute matches, but everyone's been embracing it and stepping
And I've
up
been to
the
shows like WWE shows you go to growing up when they would do Sunday Night Heat or something before Raw starts or Velocity before SmackDown. The crowds are hot. They're ready to enjoy wrestling because it's before a show. It's the first thing that they're seeing. So it's like when you watch those, it comes through on YouTube. You could hear the crowds like really getting into these matches on dark, and it's awesome.
Yeah, the crowds have been awesome. Like I've had 2 of my best matches recently on dark. I wrestled Lee Moriarty.
Yeah.
In Chicago, which was just a great match. And me and Sunny Kiss in Newark.
Yeah.
Which I politic big time to do the match in Newark because I wanted to see the reaction of
in Jersey, right?
Yeah, we're both from New Jersey.
Yeah.
So I want to see the polarizing reaction, and I just knew no matter what, whoever was booed, whoever was cheered, that the crowd would be into the match all the time.
Into
New
it,
Jersey
yeah.
people, and they were going crazy.
Yeah.
Right before we walked through the curtain, the music's hitting. Tony's like, you guys have to shave 5 minutes off your match.
And you're like,
5 minutes.
Fuck.
I think we had 11 bell to bell, and he was like, nah, you gotta shave 5 minutes off. So Sonny's like, oh boy. And I was like, all right, we got this. So the match, I think, was like around 6 minutes.
That's crazy, because I watched that match and it doesn't feel like a 6-minute match.
It's like, it's just nonstop action.
It's like that Chandler Gaethje round or something, you know?
It was wild. It was just nonstop spots and craziness for 6 minutes straight. And I think that right there, that might be my favorite moment maybe my favorite match at AEW, to be honest.
Really?
Now that I think about it,
like best moment post-pandemic for you think?
For sure.
Yeah.
I just think getting time shaved off, that happens on TV wrestling. On independence, I can go to any show, GCW, wherever, and they don't give me a time. They say go as long as you want. But AEW, you got to stick to a strict time. Of course,
yeah, it's on the schedule.
On the schedule, because TV's going on, and I think at that point, when me and Sonny, I think TV was maybe 25 minutes away from... so to get 5 minutes shaved off is like one of the hardest things, especially if you have all this
stuff planned. Like, what do you cut? What do you...
Where you have to do big time sells, because we're doing all these crazy spots. But somehow it just worked.
Yeah.
And definitely my favorite moment post-pandemic, because it's New Jersey, Prudential Center. We had that show taken away from us before the pandemic.
I know. I was supposed to go to that one.
And that was actually the show where me and Sonny were supposed to start tagging.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because...
it's like full circle then, that you got that match like in the building you were supposed to start.
Yeah, and Kayla we're like, what can we do with her after she did like a standing moonsault double stomp with the chair on Sonny, which got a big reaction and got her over, and Sonny got over with the finish. It was just perfect.
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect, and now that I think about it, I think if it couldn't have gone much better, and for a 6-minute match, probably one of the best 6-minute matches in the history of wrestling, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope those moments keep rolling. Joey, thank you for joining me.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to that GCW show. Keep an eye on his Twitter, GCW Twitter, for when tickets are going on sale and everything. And plug where they find you on social media.
You can find me on... no, you won't find me on the Barstool Instagram account, because they never tag me whenever...
I'll get you tagged next time.
Next time.
I
think this is like the fourth video of mine.
Well, the people that...
And I've never been...
But the people that posted just get sent videos from the crowd, and the people in the crowd need to be like, this is Joey Janela.
I'm message you and be like, put my handle
I'll
on
message
there.
you.
That's how I get the girls slipping in DMs.
Of course. Yeah, see me on Barstool, yeah.
Yeah. The bad boy Joey Janela on Instagram, and it's Janela Baby, like a little tiny infant baby, on Twitter, and you can find me on OnlyFans. No, you can't. Not yet. not till AEW doesn't renew my contract, and I'm like, oh man, I need money.
Yeah, and then the OnlyFans Janela videos will come out.
I can't. I never say never, but not yet. But stay tuned. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and buy those Hammerstein tickets.
Absolutely, I'll be there. You can see me there.